yesterday. But and the narrative around the media is now changing in the world of finance that maybe things are a little out of whack. Yeah, we know that, but irrational exuberance is everywhere right now. Now, I will say this much. Yesterday, you and I talked about Adobe on that sell-off.
Right.
You asked if I liked it, and I said no. I didn't like it down 19%, but I liked it down 15%. So on the close yesterday, near the close, I ended up buying Adobe at 473.95. So up a little bit here this morning. It was up really good this really earlier. I didn't take my profit there because I think that they're going to see some buyers stepping in. Nasdaq's pushing a little bit today, but quite frankly, I think it's still going to be a very quiet day in the markets. I don't think we're going to see massive, but options are still pretty hot right now.
I know a lot of people are traveling already. I'm hearing, a couple of people are
Ah,
talking
there you
about. In
go.
fact, our Stephen Flanagan is not around today. He's doing a little bit of traveling. We've got. I've just heard some people that are traveling. AVGO. You got to talk Broadcom. You were talking about it
Yeah,
yesterday a little bit. Man, really took off. $1 trillion company now. For those that don't know, it was trading at about $827 billion when we closed yesterday, and now up. Like I said, almost 18% here. Going to be the next addition to that. That $1 trillion club. Were you surprised there? I know you're a fan of Broadcom and have been.
I am. Yeah, I mean, I love their chipset. It's the first chipset that puts both the wireless on top of the wire. The meaning the cell phone doesn't need like two different chipsets. It's all on one chipset. They're really poised to do quite well during the AI boom here with Nvidia. I like that a lot. But when you look at a market cap of Nvidia or market cap of AVGO and it looks big, I mean, Fartcoin is at $800 million market cap. I mean, the
I
world is
forgot I
just
was
a
going to look
little
that
bit.
one up. But you mentioned that yesterday. I saw it was 200. Farcoin. There it
The
is. Let's
world
see. I
of
don't
the
know if they
world.
show. I don't think TradingView gives you market caps.
Probably not. I hope not.
No, because they do
But
it. Well, I mean, it makes sense. What they do is they do exchange versus, exchange by exchange. So you'd have to
okay, yeah,
look
that's
at
fine.
each of them.
But the world is little too much, right? It just seems that people are putting money in, and you're seeing it again. I know I'm being a dead horse, but Warren Buffett's money's on the sidelines. Some of these bigger firms are on the sidelines, and we just seen insiders selling on major S&P companies at the highest level in history, meaning that companies that their CEOs, their executives are selling their own stock in their own companies at the highest level. Look,
And we
that
saw
means
that big time with Larry Fink yesterday.
Larry
Sold
Fink did the same
$50
thing.
million worth of
Yeah.
BlackRock. Those are something that you've taught me to take a step back, though, because I quickly looked on the sheet to see how much he still owns. He's got like 400 million more sitting there. So,
Oh yeah,
people want
he
to pay
does.
bills, buy things, pay taxes, do stuff, so that one caught me by surprise because as have been so bullish about BlackRock getting into private equity and not private
I
equity,
still
but
am.
private lending. There. Hey, I just pulled this over because I had to show you. Your turbo is
Yeah.
the number two trending thing on CoinGecko right now. That's why I
Is
pulled it
it
over.
good or
I had to
bad, Tony?
laugh. I literally went to go search Fartcoin for you, and see that turbo, while it's down, is actually the second most trending coin on CoinGecko. For people who don't know, CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap are the two biggest sort of aggregators out there in the crypto world, give you all
Yeah.
of sort of the information that you would get from a trading view on the stock side. We do have CoinList, which is another one of them built into Quasar. There. Yeah, Farcoin 174 now, Steve. It's actually it has gone up, so it is on $712 million market cap. Yeah.
It's just disgusting to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. It is. It just is. There's no other way to do it. I was sort of laughing. The one that I've been watching, is the one that the folks over at Wall Street Bets, Facebook's been doing, and that one mooned today. They're starting to get some listings on exchanges overseas. So PURPE, which is Purple
Let's
Perp,
be real. Let's
Purple
be real
Pepe,
honest.
Purple
Let's be
Pepe,
Yeah. Let's be real
um,
honest about this.
is up
It's
47% today.
I'm going to tell you, while the Trump administration is really approval of the crypto space, things like this going on will be busted. Regulations will be coming high for this. They've already talked about it. We don't want Gary Gensler in there, but regulation needs to come in for things like this. And if they were people pumping things like this will get arrested. It will happen.
Well, I think we got to be
Um,
careful when we say that because this is
I
actually a
don't.
community-owned coin where no one. This was not a one of those ones where a creator started it like Hawk Tuah and then and it's a rug
Which
pull.
should also be in trouble too for
Oh,
this,
she's gonna
right?
go
I
to
mean,
jail. She left enough
yeah,
crumbs. They're all over
yeah,
her. Zach
yeah.
XBT and CoffeeZilla. But I just wanted to
But
say
the
that
laws are in
because
place, no matter who,
there
no
is
matter
no
who.
difference between Purple Pepe and Turbo. It is basically the same type of thing. It's a community
Yeah,
coin.
but
It was
but
created
but
by a community
pumping
to
it,
do something, but they don't do anything right. Well, but
but
this is the
live
problem. So,
pumping
know
in
what I
front
would
of your
ask, and know what we got to get our guy on from the sports books that you're friends with, because I'm wondering if this money's coming out of there. In other words, this is all gambles. Pump Fund
yeah,
and the Coinbase. I was telling you they've got now a site where people are launching these meme tokens on. And
yeah.
is this the answer to daily fantasy and those crazy prop bets that everybody are doing? And is it taken from there? Or is it really bad and it's coming out of equities? So that's the question. Because if it's gambling versus gambling, I fall at whatever at that point. You're just as
Right. I mean,
likely.
look, the markets to me is not gambling. And when you start to gamble like this, then we have a problem, right? And it will always come back and bite you in the behind. I've seen it a million times in the markets. I've seen where people have go in and out and invest in. Let's go back even
Well,
in the
again, I
mining.
don't want you to invest in any of these. If you
You're
want to
right.
play a game on a coin that's either down or on its way up, and it's like you did a 0.01%, and that's what you're doing with it, I have fun with it. I mean, I like
Right.
these.
No, I
I do the
that's
pump.
what I'm
I do it
about.
on penny stocks. There's
Yeah.
no difference. I mean, those penny
But
stocks don't have value. Most of them are
right.
literally
Right.
bankrupt.
But if
Um,
you look at it from the perspective of the SEC, they are still bound by rules. They still have to do the Howey
Absolutely. We
test.
don't want pump and dumps. We don't want these concerted efforts. No, in fact, we were talking with the guys over at Blue Sky, right? I don't know if you're allowed to announce that yet, but I know
Yeah.
you're interviewing them next week. And they were talking about these prop firms are in trouble. These funded trader programs at a lot of places do it.
Yes.
I know I came from that world at Prosper. I know what we went through that no other companies were to assure the FTC that we were giving a trade, properly documenting when the trade started, not entering the trade till it was already properly documented ourselves, and then documenting the sell and all of that stuff. And our students had to be able to see it 24/7, and a lot of different things that we do.
I make
They
it very
do.
clear on Quasar Markets. I
Yeah.
have when you get an answer on our AI, I give you, your timestamp. I know where it
Yeah.
came from, all of that stuff. Look, this is important that people understand how they get their news, right? And it's not just shoving it down from a Facebook page or from
Yeah,
a
no, you
tweet
don't. I
or
saw
whatever.
that, and that's a great point, and that's what worries me is there's a difference between these community coins that have launched and deciding that you now want to get in on Pepe or Turbo or Fartcoin. They've been out for a while. There is no rug pull to be done. It's the people that are saying, "Hey, I've got the next Doge. I've got the next Shiba. You send me 4 Solana, I'm gonna send you this. Nope, there you go. You just did it. They're the insider that you are their liquid, their exit liquidity. So that, there's definitely that out there.
Buyer
Um,
beware.
yeah, absolutely, Steve. Let's get into what we saw overnight here. Um, Down across most of the world here, stocks down about 0.2 point. Uh, Shanghai definitely got hit hard. China down 2% overnight, and the Nikkei down slightly. So right across the board as we enter. QQQ, though, looks like it really wants to run, led by that chip sector we just talked about when I was looking this morning. Technology, and then I actually had to look up what was in. Oh, now it's never mind because it's gone the other way. I was looking up what was in industrial because industrial was leading earlier this morning. It was companies like Boeing, Caterpillar, Dow that were in there, but that does seem to have reversed. That was the other sector that was up. And I will say XLK, which is the technology, was up over a percentage point. So we are seeing a pullback here this morning. over the last 20 minutes or so. I haven't really seen any news. Good morning there, Ron, Zora, everybody. Hope you're doing well here this morning. But
Oh
chips,
my God, Kramer's now talking about Broadcom now.
that's the end of
AVGO.
that trade. There you go. There. Um, yeah.
And he's
Uh,
the one that said AI is overrated, and here he is talking about how AI is. Look, folks, we're in the AI is just in the beginning. We're
yeah.
just now starting. Look, I've said this a million times, and I did this a couple days ago. I actually signed up for the Chat GPT $20 a
Right.
month so that I can get access constantly to it. We use it in our system. We have Anthropic and all Perplexity, but this is just the beginning. We're going to get to the point where AI is just part of our lives. I remember saying the exact same thing when people were laughing at me, but eventually the internet will just be part of your life. You will
Yeah.
literally look at your phone all day long and you will literally be on the computers. And I said, eventually we'll have wearables. Oh my God, we're already there. In the future, and to do all this, we're going to not, and I said, we're going to have need better computers than my 386DX with 1 gig of RAM and a dial-up, right?
Yeah.
We look at that now, we laugh, but let's go back. That's only been 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, and like you're saying, what you're not gonna what everyone's gonna do is, yeah, like if you want an answer to something, and I use it, I use our AI, as you know, the other day I was using it to pull up some of these things that were approaching 200 AMAs because I wanted a sort of complicated answer. It was, I'm looking for things that are approaching the 200-day AMA, but have outperformed the S&P over the last 90 days and are with it, I mean, I had like seven
Instead
things,
of
and
having
it
to
and
drop
within a
down
matter
menus, going
of
through everything, bam, it's off. You just talk to the
yeah,
machine. The machine
it's
gives you
if
the answer.
and what it is for me is right now it is the start of it. In other words, I used that to get a list, and then I looked at that list. And down the road, I won't even do that. I'll have my portfolio set up that I want 20% in stocks that are doing the following, and I want 20% in stocks that are doing the following, and I want 20% and I want it to shuffle, and I want it to do this rebalancing and all that. That's what you're going to see. And then I have to talk about, as you know, I've spoken at many conferences about smart cities and IoT, the Internet of Things. And that's what people don't realize is coming. And it means that,
Yes.
it's your refrigerator that already talks to the internet going even further. And you're going to set levels and say, anytime my milk gets below a quarter of a gallon, a quart, I want you to reorder it through Instacart and have it delivered. And I want you to shop the price between Kroger's and Albertsons and
Yep.
Costco. And it's going
Yeah.
to do all those. And if you don't think it is, it's closer than
I
you
mean,
think.
when I talk about AI, I talk about one thing. It's one word. It's one word. It's efficiency.
Yeah,
How efficient does it make me as a person?
right.
And the answer, people don't really sometimes don't understand that, right? This morning, I told ChatGPT, hey, give me this morning's news. I didn't have to go through 25 websites, which I already have them around me, as everybody knows, and a
Yeah.
thousand screens. It just gave me the top 25 things. So here's the things, Steve. Now, what are you interested in? And I can click boom, and it just sends me on the rabbit hole. And now I know more about that thing, and it's a thing I really want to look for, as opposed to me having to figure out what it is that I think is important, or letting CNBC or
That's what I was
Bloomberg
going to get
or
to. And what
tell
it
me
does
what's
is it
important.
sources not from one place. Is what
Right.
happens now is instead of my 25 screens being CNBC and Bloomberg and Fox Business and whatever else, it's on that, right? And it's giving me the info and then I go from there. So it's going to be like you said, those efficiencies that you're going to see. It is all of the autonomous stuff, and it's in places you wouldn't think. In other words, again, I'm here in farm country. You talk to the farmers, autonomous irrigation and usage in the farms to tell them the soil level, the pH is too high, you need to add the following. This is doing this, that's doing this. It's all automated even for them nowadays. And the ones, and they're getting
I
into
even
it.
saw I even saw a machine that shoots laser beams at birds, doesn't hurt the birds, but scares the birds so they don't
Away,
pick the
right?
field clean
Yeah,
for
they have
wine.
those here. Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
laser. It's a laser light, we should say. It's
laser
more of a
light. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more of a light than an actual laser. I don't want people to think that we're over here, Steve. Hey, listen, I live 10 miles from Springfield, Ohio. Okay, I'm already
Right,
eating
right.
cats and dogs. I don't want to be shooting the birds now. So,
No, we're not doing that. Listen, but that technology is going to make our fields more efficient. So and farmers don't have and yields crops will be even bigger. We'll know how to put the right amount of pH into it. And whether that's in
Yeah,
fertilizer
exactly.
or
It's all
it's
that. Yeah.
crazy what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Zora says she looks at her phone all day long now. Yeah, you can't get away from it. You can't. And then Ron says eventually they're going to put probes, Ron. We're going to be instead of robots, robots. But yeah. And even that, I mean, they are working with paraplegics, the things you're going to see. But the IoT is where you're going to see that use for chips that I don't think people understand is there's going to be a chip in everything that you own. So again, it's your thermometer, your thermostat in the house, your oven, your refrigerator, everything's going to have these chips because they're
My, I
all going to
mean,
connect to the
I
internet.
mean, my washer and dryer tells me when it's done. I don't. Usually my wife tells me when my clothes are done, but now
Right now it tells you
get them
right.
out of the wash, get them in the dryer. Yeah.
Yep.
Look, it.
Steve, I do want to talk a little bit about what our president elect said yesterday that I do think is a
Oh
sector that
dear
you
God.
still got to keep your eyes on. Nuclear,
Yeah.
oil, gas, coal. He said we need more electricity. We need to double. I heard the exact words. I went back and watched it after we got
Yeah.
off the air.
He did.
Double our electricity in the United States. The only way we're
He
going to
did.
do that is by adding nuclear, by getting in and starting more wells. So I do think that, we've talked about
And
that a
he
lot
said that on
here.
the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So again, what I'm taking away is so far in this administration, what he said is moving the markets, and it's also you see it in action. So I will not be surprised to see nuclear start to take hold again. So some plays like OKLO is a good one. I VST is another one. CEG is a play on that because they are the ones that are in charge of 3 Mile Island. You're going to see those companies. Again, I've been watching CVX. It hasn't gotten to my entry there. That's one of the ones that was given to me by Quasar's AI as one to watch here that was approaching the 200-day MA. Bounced right off of it, as you can see here this morning. So this one's definitely in play for me. I'm looking for it to break this 50 MA, and I will be entering Chevron here probably even. I want to be in before this thing starts. I'll probably start scaling into that. I do have to bring up. I know you brought up your Adobe. I will exit my MTN position today. Remember, I shorted that. I bought the 190, sold the 185 puts, and for a nice premium there, or the opposite. I sold the 190, bought the 185s
Okay. Yeah.
for a nice $1.01 premium. So that should expire useless today. I'll wait till about noon and get rid of that. So we are
I
keeping
mean,
our
if,
streak
it, if it's
intact.
already if it's near worthless, you can just let it. The machine will do it automatically, right? So.
Yeah, but I use that company you hate, and I don't trust them.
Okay. There you go.
If you remember, during COVID, they said I owed them 20 some odd $1,000 when they owed me like seven. On a covered call spread that had me calling you on Saturday morning panicking. Yeah, Robinhood, for those that don't know, sometimes does not calculate these things correctly and it can take, in that instance, it took 4 days for it to correct for me to be able to
I can
trade.
calculate in my head faster than Robin Hood can
Oh,
on
I
their own
knew
machine.
the answer. I already had it all worked out. It was a trade that had come from Scott Bauer, so it was a prosper trade that had everything laid out for me. I knew everything. And that poor guy got
I am
17
looking
calls.
to add a little bit to my Adobe here in the morning here. I think that
Okay.
Adobe could be finally picked up a little bit here. So I'm looking at Adobe. I did not like it yesterday morning when the first sell off there because I didn't think there was enough sell off that matched the guidance of Adobe. But now I kind of do like it here a little bit.
Steve, did you watch any of that TTAN yesterday? Service Titan, the IPO that went up 50% and ended up
As
down.
I'm friends with Nasdaq, and I'm very proud of that IPO. I love what they're doing over at Nasdaq. And listen, the Service Titan is one of those companies that just is working very hard to get kind of. It's not like really an Angie's List, but it's better than that. And they've done very well. The company's done very well as a company. But there are some insiders that are probably selling. There are probably some shares in the firms that are probably selling. So not quite there yet. But I do like Service Titan. I just think that it just needs to be some of that needs to be cleaned out, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it got crazy. It opened at 70, shot up immediately to like 105. This was like watching Nikla and some of the other ones during COVID. The
Yeah.
IPOs shot up and now down around 97. But again, keep in mind that it launched with the intention to be priced at $71.
Well, this
So
company's not pushing a truck downhill, so we're okay.
yeah, no, 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 not at all. So, but what I was more getting at is this is one that I'm watching. If I see it consolidate, I'll probably look at an entry. As you know, ASO was another one that I did that with, and a lot of the guys that are in our Slack channels did after they went public. Academy shot right up the first day or so, and then retraced after that, found its hole, and those that have stayed in it have been really happy with that situation. So, one I'm definitely keeping an eye on here today. Steve, another company that had a big move up, Restoration, RH. RH up
Well,
15.
when rich people are rich and they need furniture, they go to Restoration Hardware. And listen, I don't even buy from that place, but every time I go in there, it's overpriced stuff. Is it quality? I don't know. I'm not going to answer that question, but people are buying from that place.
Yeah, the thing that was a little weird for me there is they actually had a miss on earnings and revenue. So this is all forward guidance based
Yeah.
there. So that was a little surprising because we haven't seen that very much in this earnings sort of cycle where,
Well, if you start to see the market falling a little bit and people taking their profits off, right? What are they going to do with that money? They're going to sit and wait? Nope, they're going to redo their house. So,
yeah, well, and as you said, a lot of people who are sitting at 2% mortgages that aren't going to change it for a 5% mortgage are saying, hey, I'm in for the long term. I'm not here. This isn't a 6 month situation. This is now a 6 year maybe situation for me. So let's decorate, let's redo it. So those are the things I'm looking at there for that. Costco. I was hoping for a little bit of a retrace there because it looked like people weren't thrilled with the news. I thought maybe I'd get an opportunity. You and I are both very bullish on Costco. Know what I
I'm more
could?
bullish on Walmart. I mean, people ask me, I'm more bullish on Walmart because I think Sam's Club is now beating Costco in that aspect. I'm very
Don't
bullish
say that near
on.
me. My wife is a Sam's Club person. I'm a Costco. Don't give her any more ammunition.
Sorry,
Man,
all
come
right.
on, Big Beat. I don't argue with that. My takeaway from Costco was their talk about is the middle class is losing. Everything we've been talking about here, they talked about the fact that their Wagyu beef, they can't keep it in stock when they get Wagyu beef, and then they can't keep in stock the inexpensive, brands items that they do from Kirkland. That middle is sort of not there. People are either they're seeing, the wealthy, like you said, sort of stop back in, and are now shopping there that weren't, and they want, not to joke, but they want caviar and Wagyu, and they're carrying it for them. And I think that might be the difference there between them and Sam's Club, Steve. Something to keep an eye on as we're out there over the next couple of months. Both you and I keep an eye
Well,
and
I mean, we've
see
been
if.
talking about it. The middle class is hurting, right? The
Right.
rich guys
Well, it's more. I'm
can't
wondering
afford.
because I think that would be a boon to Sam's that we haven't seen so far. They haven't. I know because we shop at Sam's in my family. They haven't done the up high end stuff yet. Maybe do we see that? If I start to see those things pop in there, I think it could be, like you said, a big boon to Walmart and push WMT even higher up compared to Costco. But I was hoping for a little bit of a pullback correction on Costco here to get an entry. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Was sort of my more takeaway there. Steve, because it's holding over 100,000, you haven't bitched at me about Bitcoin, so I'm happy with
Not
that.
yet,
Uh,
totally.
but
We'll
so when are you gonna start asking me when we hit 110? Because you usually go about a week after a new all-time high in a good mood, happy, and then about a week later you start bugging me to know when the next pump's coming.
Well, I think the problem for me right now is that 102 seems to be some kind of heavy resistance. I don't know why. And then when you're seeing the selling, it's strong. I mean, it's just bam. It's like algorithmic,
Well,
or
it's
it's
usually it's what's happening is they're triggering perps. And again, those that don't know, that's the derivatives on
yeah.
crypto, and they're highly leveraged. We've talked about it. I was on with Jeremy Vreeland and Matthew Tuttle yesterday. We were talking about that's one of the things I'm really happy about is like the products that he's doing that give you 2x exposure to Bitcoin, which is more than enough, and are actually done in a regulated and controlled, environment,
Yeah.
not the wild west of crypto. So again, a very big move up. And again, like I said, if it's only a 2% leverage on Bitcoin, I can live with it. I don't like, the huge ones, and I've been
This
known to.
100x stuff is just absolutely ridiculous, right? It should be banned. 300x shouldn't even. People should be that's just stupid. Because you're gonna get burnt. You're playing with fire, and it's terrible because the big boys know where your stops are. The big boys know where you bought. They know when you bought 300x. They're just gonna wipe you out and thank you very for much for your money. Now go pay me more money that you don't have.
Yeah, and,
This is
and I
what's
want to talk a
happening.
little to that because people are always like, well, no one's looking at my $100 move. No, you're right. They're
Oh,
not
yes,
looking at
they
you.
are.
Well, they're not looking at your $100 move. They're looking at the
They're gonna
thousands of orders
okay, yes,
that
I
are
get what I
at
said.
that
Yeah,
$100 move.
that's right.
So,
Yes.
that's what you got to understand is that, no, you're right. They're not searching for, Johnny Doe's trade. What they're doing is they're seeing how much leverage is built up at each position
Right.
within the,
Correct.
the
Yeah.
chain. And that's what they look for. So yes, they are absolutely hunting your position. They just aren't
Yeah.
hunting you individually. They're hunting
That's right.
they're hunting the
As
herd.
we
They're not
always
looking
say,
for you.
the
They're not looking for
market
the
doesn't
individual
care
deal.
about you. That's right.
Yeah.
Market's not a machine. It's a machine. It's not a person, right? People are behind it, but the market doesn't care about you. But they are looking at where you are. Trust me. That's why I'm very nervous when I put my orders in. They are watching me too,
Yeah.
and I know when things have. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's all I wanted to say there because there is
All right, I
that
got
that
about
talk
2 minutes here going in here, Howard. I was hoping to get, I don't believe in hope and luck in the markets, but Adobe, I'm trying to buy a little bit. I was thinking about buying on the market on the open as opposed to early here. Good, okay, good. Keep it slipping down a little bit here.
we see the
There's a
tick
little bit
pretty
of
much neutral here as we're kicking in.
yeah.
Advanced decline is up about 1368, about half of where it was yesterday. But we see both the advanced decline on
That
Nasdaq.
10 year is pushing higher too, 4.355. So
Does that start to worry you as we're getting closer to the Fed's decision on Wednesday, Steve? That doesn't make sense to me.
Nothing makes sense to me in the bond market right now. The bond
Okay.
market is still out of whack. So, and when things don't make sense to me in the bond market, I get nervous because the bond market traders, as I always say, are the smartest traders. But why? Because they have the most money, and they're the ones that have the institutional money, right? They're the ones who really have to make money. They have to be risk free, pretty much in a lot of ways. Right now, what's going on in the bond market right now is a little wacky. I think it has a lot to do with the new administration coming in and they're concerned. But here we go. We are I guess, a minute here to go into this
Yeah, minute off.
open.
I was also looking at gold has dropped back below that 2700 level, actually down to 2661. So a decent sized drop there. Silver back below 31.
I did post on our Twitter page, Howard, a question: Santa rally this year, and it's 71.4% yes, 28.6% no. That's pretty high. That's very, very, very bullish to me. That people think that now, for those of you who don't know, the Santa rally is not the week of
No, it
Christmas. It's
starts
not the week
Monday.
before. It starts the exact day after Christmas, the
Right.
first day we get back going into the new
New
year,
Year's.
and it's usually the 7th of January. So Santa Rally is not just all the way to December 31st. I know the markets are closed, but it goes the week after, whatever that ends up being the time frame. Okay, so the Santa Rally. So that tells me that people are bullish into the new year, not now unless they don't understand
Do you
that. But
think that's because we've taken this little step back on some of these, flyers that have been moving the Nvidias of the world and stuff, and
no, I
they're
just
thinking
think people are just
just still
wanting to
bullish. People just want to think the world's going in the right direction. I mean, we all want that to be the case. Uh, okay.
Okay,
Well,
we're open
we
now.
are
Adobe
open
dropped me a
here
little bit.
and we are starting out. The tick is starting out. No, big negative pop there, down 500. We were even right before we went in there. Now down 364.
Hopefully, I bought some in there
First
somewhere.
move out of QQQs to the upside so far. About to get through VWAP. This is an interesting spot. So QQQ right here just broke through VWAP. I'm sure Mike Shore and the folks at Prosper getting into a trade there probably. SPY is up 0.34. But we see SPY's been getting hit a little bit more this last half hour or so. Let's take a look at what's going on. AVGO up about 17% here. So the first reaction there is a little bit of a sell-off. Costco might give me my entry, pulling back now 1.5% here. So seeing a sell-off on Costco here. I'm more looking in that nine. It would take a little bit. I would be wanting to see that come down towards that 950 area for sure before I'd be looking there. Let's see. I got a question is when is Bitcoin going to go 103 or 104 again or higher? Zora, I'm not 100% sure there because one of the things that we're noticing is as it breaks 100, the future basis is less than 25%, and that is not normally what we see in Bitcoin. So it shows that the retail trader and the ETFs is moving the needle right now. So they're also much more likely to sell off. So I do think, Steve, to answer your other question you asked, is why at 102, 103 is I think it's a lot of retail, not a lot of institutional right now. When we see the institutional come in, which will be the next big buy that you hear about from Michael Thaler or Mara or one of those others, is when I would be keeping an eye on that. See what else we've got going on here. Oil continuing to push up. More talk about sanctions there, Steve.
Yeah, because I mean that works so well for the Biden administration. It works so well for nobody. It just doesn't work. They
No, because
find ways
they
around the
always find
sanctions.
trade partners. It did not take India, who we know has a currency issue, very long to buy the cheaper Russian oil, right?
I'm seeing Adobe here slipping a bit here, but it's bothering me just a wee bit here. Might have to buy a little bit more here.
Did you see that your boy Ken Griffin bought some dino skeletons for $44.6 million?
Well, so did what's his name, the actor Nicolas Cage. So it's just because you do something doesn't make it smartest thing in the world.
Yeah, he like it's weird. He just wants to own everything, doesn't he? He's got that copy of the Declaration of Independence. He is definitely a.
Well, we're seeing a little bit of push here now in Bitcoin, 100,500. So you know what? There we go. Come on to Bitcoin.
And again, what I am taking a look at here. And again, so I'm going to tell people is we are seeing IBIT and the others are up almost 0.6 of a percentage versus what we see Bitcoin. That has been an indicator of a positive day on Bitcoin moving to the upside. So, very short amount of time to sort of back test that. But what we have seen again is if there's a divergence in the amount that the ETFs is up in the morning, it means they can't catch up in time on the redemptions. So what we're seeing is that lag time. It usually means Bitcoin's going to have a nice day. So good to see that so far. MSTR back over 400 here, Steve. What else do we have going on? QQQ back up almost 9/10 of a point. Looks like AFRM here might try to break its all-time high and start to run here. That's a firm holding. Been seeing a lot of talk, Steve, like you talked about the issue with credit. Seeing a lot of even senators and congress people that are much more fans of this buy now, pay later because of the way that it's sort of done with automatic payments and so forth. I hadn't really looked much into it, but I saw Clara really being talked about in good light and affirmed. So I was surprised by that.
The rates on those are just so high for me, but I understand why people do it. So
No,
I
that's the
I
thing that
don't.
they were talking about. So if you do those, it isn't, and the way that they do it, you have to pay. So it's a
You
weird
gotta
thing.
pay, right? I understand,
Yeah, it's
but
a
the
weirder
rate
thing.
still.
They were saying, they were talking about why it's a better system than credit cards because of the unsecured part of it.
Show me how much money those companies paid their members of Congress, and I'll tell you the answer to that question.
That I don't know.
Looking at Adobe here, 471.09. I'm averaged in at 472.39, so I think I'm okay now. So here we go, Adobe. Come on, baby.
Nvidia getting a little bit. Chips all getting a push up after the AVGO. UNH up half a point here, so maybe we're seeing a little bit of a
You
bottoming
know, it's
out.
interesting with UNH, the CEO coming out and saying that we're a broken system. We got to fix it. Okay, great. Talk's cheap, brother. You got to do something. Oh, okay. There we go, Mr. Adobe. Told you, told you, told you. Let's go. Oof.
Costco still holding up above that 980 here. I'm definitely not going to get my opportunity on that one today. Boeing trying to get above 170 maybe today, Steve. 168.28. Glad to see that.
I mean, we've
Um,
been talking about Boeing for a while. So as soon as they get through their problems, then up she goes, and then she went. So, yeah,
I'll be interested. I was reading an article about there are two Air Force Ones that were ordered by Trump under the first administration that
correct.
might not even get delivered under the second administration, and they were sort of giving a hard time to the CEO of Boeing. I do think that would be a boon for them if they were to speed up somehow that movement and get out their planes, their Air Force One. I couldn't think of a better publicity sort of moment, right? So
Well, I remember the first time that Trump said that the Boeing was too expensive. We'd already gone over the budget there, and he tried to fix the problem, and then he did canceled one of the orders, right?
but
So
he got a
we're
lower
still
price. So he got a lower
got a
price
lower
out of
price.
them.
He did.
Well, that's
Got
and
a
that's
lower,
part of the problem. They're losing money building those planes and the delays that they've
right.
had because now it's more expensive for all the stuff they locked into a contract. When they got the $3.9 billion, they were happy with it. Now they're not as happy as it's costing them more to build it here. But I think it would be an interesting one. If I was the CEO of Boeing, I would make a concerted effort to get at least one of those planes ready to go as quickly as I possibly could. Um,
We're closing in on 101 here, 100,700 here now on Bitcoin.
Tesla now negative today. Did you see that Musk and his lawyers got letters from the SEC telling him that they had 48 hours to accept a cash settlement
I think
offer?
I think I think he can just say forget it. I'll see you in January.
He did. If you get on Twitter, you'll see the letter that his lawyer wrote. And it was pretty
See you in
funny.
January.
Yeah,
It's just
basically
silly.
that's what it was. Is like, listen, slow your roll.
Nasdaq's pushing here a little bit.
Yeah, the chips, AVGO now up almost 20% on the day here, definitely running.
Spot gold slipping a bit, 26.59 here. Come on, Adobe. Hmm. And there you
CIEN,
go.
which was
Talking
up
about
high.
Costco on CNBC now.
What was that?
Kramer's talking
Yeah.
about Costco on CNBC now.
I will
Mm-mm.
say another runner, Sienna Corporation, CIEN Telecommunications, mooned up yesterday, now up another 4%. I believe they were up. Yeah, they moved up from 73 to 88 here. So nice move up by them. And that was yesterday after another one that missed earnings but gave solid forward
Ooh, Wise Key,
guidance.
WKEY, has been halted here.
What was that one?
Wise Key up 12.8% and halted here.
WS, what did you say it was?
WKEY, Wise Key. Wow, we could see something here. So what's going on there, Wise Key?
Oh. What's an interesting spot? That one's a little rougher. I don't know that I could get it on this one.
Here we go, 100,900 now on Bitcoin. Just popped up there.
You definitely got room on this WKEY, but it's in a weird zone. It's got room to 494.
472.41, 472.79 now on Adobe. I do have a sell in there, but I'm not going to give it out because I want everybody to know where my sell is. But I do have a sell above here a little bit. 473 now on Adobe. There we go, baby. Come on. 473 and a half.
QQQ up nicely here, almost 1%. We do see XLK, technology sector of Spider, up 1.06% here.
474 now on Adobe. If we get positive here.
Mag 7, we see Nvidia up about 0.3 percentage point. Apple now up 0.5 percentage point here. Apple's had a nice little run the last few days. Microsoft up 0.25 percentage. Amazon up 0.25 percentage point. Tesla now up 0.14, but that is actually moving down here over the last 25 minutes or so. Netflix negative, Google negative. Google's made that big run up over the last few days.
I mean, Willow is the answer. I mean, we've talked about this, right? They're saying that, hey, we've got a chipset that's 10 billion times faster than in quantum computing. It's just, that's the key. I've said this a million times, and they've done it. I think IBM is right there. I think Google is right there. I think all of these things is right there.
Broadcom now up almost 21 percentage points here. Same thing, RH, Restoration Hardware, now up 16.21%. So we are seeing a little bit of runners here. Most of the e-commerce getting hit here. Mealy back down at 18.19 here. That could get attractive again on a little bit more of a pullback. And Wynn Casino is up about 1.62% here today, getting a little bit of love. We're now down still about 167 on the tick here, now down about 87. Advanced decline down about 925 or so. VIX back down around 1331. So again, volatility, not really much in play here. QQQ now up 1.14% here, so it is definitely continuing to move to
Kramer
the
says that
upside.
Chevron here is a better buy than Exxon.
Well, there goes my theory, doesn't it? I just said I wanted to buy Chevron today.
There you go. Bitcoin at 100,871 now. So yeah.
Seeing a lot of projections here from analysts that Coinbase will become the most valuable exchange broker in the world soon. That it will overtake Schwab.
I've said that years ago when people asked me about different exchanges. I said, I know it's expensive, but I like Coinbase, and it is expensive to be on the exchange. It's expensive to move money around, but it's safe, and that's where the money's going. So,
and they're about $80 billion market cap right now. I don't know what Schwab is.
100,900 now. We're about to get back to the 101 here. There you go, broken through the 100,900. Will it continue to go on up? I don't know.
Again, my best feeling on it is yes, based upon that. Let's see what IBIT's up now. So it's up about 0.87%. We look at
Nasdaq
IBIT.
now the highs of the day.
IBIT's still ahead of it, but starting to catch up. So we are seeing that the ETFs are starting to catch up in there. So they're about right. MSTR up at 403.82 here, up 3% here so far this morning. Steve, I did mention yesterday a couple of alts to keep an eye on, right? That were going to be profitable under the new administration. I don't know if you saw the article I shared, but the Trump family's crypto project, which is World Liberty, going to be heavily involved in DeFi. They purchased two of those tokens in large quantities, over $1 million of each. Aave, AAVE. As I mentioned, that is a lending and borrowing service. And it is already used by companies like BlackRock and others, and you can see what that thing has done recently. It's made this move up from 160 to 380, and then they also bought Chainlink, Link. Chainlink are oracles. If they're going to be big in the DeFi world, they're going to need to use oracles to bring outside data onto a blockchain. So again, these are some of the picks and shovels within the crypto world that I would get. Some of them pulling
And
back
yet,
here.
and yet, people get mad at Nancy Pelosi for doing the exact same thing. Look, it's true. We know what's going to happen. DeFi is coming, and it's going to be part of our world that we live in. If you're not in crypto, you better hurry and get in, because, quite frankly, this administration is all about it, and it's gonna grow. It's just gonna grow.
Yeah, I actually saw a thing on Pelosi's husband recently with what he'd bought recently, and the man's good at what he does. If you have that information, that access to information makes it a little easier, right?
When Nancy stepped down from being speaker, she didn't step down from being a member, did she?
No, and she's still on all those committees that matter. She's on the tech committees, and he buys Microsoft and Google and all those at exactly the right time. And the same thing, she's on some of those defense committees, and he seems to buy companies that are just about to get awarded a large contract. Amazing
It's
how his
amazing.
timing is. Yeah, that's one like we've talked about here. The guys on
Why
CNN.
he should be. So yeah, we are at a record high now in the Nasdaq. We just hit a record high in the
Yeah.
middays. So there we go.
And I'm going to mention we are almost exactly at what I pointed out, right? I've been calling for 530, 534.17 as the next measured move up, 534.17. So once we hit that, that's where you're going to want to take a look here. Again, these are the measured moves that NASDAQ has been, or QQQ, has been following basically to a T, over the last few months. So it made its move through that, it stalled out at the half measured move. Now it's made the full measured move almost here. I'm going to be watching it at that spot here. This could be where it either blows through that level, and then we got to draw my next box here. Hold it 1 second.
So WiseKey has announced a satellite launch with SpaceX on January 14th. Uh-oh, this can take off.
That actually definitely could. 542 would be the next level we'd be looking at. So here's what we're looking at here. As NASDAQ approaches that 534.17 area, if you see it blow through that, you've got room up to 542. Otherwise, look for a retrace towards that 525.52 area is what I'd be looking at there. A half measured move back.
I think I'm going to go with the WiseKey. I think that's a huge opportunity here.
Is it off halt yet?
It's not off halt yet.
Let's see. Let's give that a look. So the thing that you got here is that first spot, your just below 378. You're gonna have two quick spots of resistance to worry about here.
Yeah, but if you're launching
But
with
if you can blow through
SpaceX,
it, yep. No. I'm just pointing out what we're gonna watch for here. We want to keep an eye as it approaches 378, then 389. Any move above 389 puts almost. I don't like to use the word sky is the limit, but sky is the limit because as you look at here on the daily chart, this is a stock that at one point was trading somewhere in the 30s, I believe. Yeah, this is a stock that actually got up as high as 76 at one point, but that was trading in the 30s here back in 21. Its last big jump that it made here in May of this year, or May of last year, excuse me, got it up to $8. So it's got some levels to look at that you definitely can see here that you'd want to be watching and targeting. You know, you're definitely targeting sort of this 427 zone right here. As a first level, it breaks 427. The good thing there is you got room up to about
should
493.
be a halt here soon. So
So on the daily chart, that's what I'd be targeting. Like I said, on the 3-minute chart, I'm more targeted in on those shorter ones to keep an eye on. 378 and 389. Looks like the spread right now. WKEY. Hold it 1 second and I'll pull that out.
still halted here.
I'm seeing I might come in with you. Let's see, 370. Do you see the spread there, Steve? I don't have the spread on this.
No, I don't either. That's what makes me
Yes.
nervous.
Yeah, that's the only thing. At least, hey, I'm learning. I'm asking the right questions. That makes me feel good, buddy. I'm like, that's the only thing that I'm not seeing. Usually shows me 370. Yeah, I mean 350 would be where I'd get out. Okay. I'm in with you here, Steve. Give me a second.
It's still halted here. Could Broadcom just topped $1 trillion in market cap. There you
Yeah,
go.
I said it. Did it during the off
Yeah.
hours. I had noticed also. So yeah, that one not surprising me really there. Um,
Should be coming
should be
off a
coming
halt
off
here.
right here. Sorry, just trying to get my order in here.
Let's let all the rich people in first, right?
Yeah, that's what worries me a little bit right now. I'm seeing a 370 to 370. It is showing me a spread now of 3 cents. Are you looking below, Steve, or are you looking to get in right at that 370?
I'm looking to get in as fast as I can.
Okay, so you're going market.
Probably yes.
Okay, well, then I've got to listen to the man if that's the case.
I thought about putting a limit order in here, but I don't think they'll lift me if I do that. So
Yeah, I got lucky that last time.
but they might be holding the stock for the news a little longer than the 5 minutes. So let's see about that.
Okay, I just send my order in, so we'll see what we get here.
Tick down to about 400 now, so it will put some pressure on the markets here. Bond market's pushing up a little bit here.
Okay, I actually put it at 365 here. I'm gonna see what happens.
You know what's interesting? You see it. You're looking at the Bitcoin, and it's not really being affected by anything right now.
No, it's not. And like I said, Steve, I talked a little bit about it earlier. This is a good time probably to bring that up. No, Ron, WKEY. Well, it could be a long-term hold if you actually like that. You like that play there. Um, you could. And then Zora, yeah, if you're talking about Pelosi's husband, yes, it would be considered insider trading, but for some reason it has never been. They claim that he doesn't have knowledge and everything else, but when you look at what he has bought, it is, listen, there. But if you're asking about the Trump, no, the company that he's divested, he doesn't own any of that World Liberty. His family does, and family isn't covered, unfortunately, when it comes to sons and you know son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws and all that, and that's who's propping up that World Liberty there. What it more is that it's his family's tied into it, right? George W. Bush's family was heavily into oil, right? And he always did things that promoted the oil industry. So, that part is more of not insider trading, but more, just what do they do for business? What do they do?
Here
If
we
you're a
go.
farmer, you're looking for more.
101 coming up, baby. 101.
I love it. And again, Ave up again here today,
There it is.
368.
101 just hit on Bitcoin.
Nice.
Interesting that Wisekey's still not off halt here.
Yeah, it's starting to scare me to a point where, like you said, this last time we saw this was the other day, and there it goes, 484. No way
Yeah,
I
had
got
a
filled.
that was
No
really
way I
good.
got filled. 512. Well, let me
Uh,
cancel that order. Give me a second here. Cancel order.
yeah, it won't fill now. I had a
Because
feeling they
now if
just
it
let
comes
everybody
down, it's
they
not
let
worth.
everybody
It's
they let
halted. It's
everybody in.
halted again at 512.
Yeah, of course it is. They let everybody in and then halted it. Yeah.
Yeah. And those that are asking, yeah, that is it, Ron. WLFI, I believe. I'll double check it here, but I believe that is his WLFI USD. Let me, Ron, hold it one second. I gotta go to CoinGecko for that. I think I have still up. Wow, that was a quick mover there.
Yeah. I tried to get in and just there was no way.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess I had in a at $3.65 in case I got lucky, and it was definitely not going that way. World Liberty. Let's see here. WLFI. Yep, Ron, you are correct. That is the crypto project that his family is heavily involved in DeFi. And I will say that it's going to be one of those companies that is a TradFi company that takes advantage of the non-intermediary ways of crypto. And what does it mean there is that he's going to become the bank. They become the bank, or you actually become the bank. You borrow and lend your own coins out. Like on Aave. Aave is lending and borrowing done using smart contracts. Sorry about my pup there. And that's the things they're going to allow. They're going to try to do um, what World Liberty is going to try to do is try to make an app that is, everyone's still waiting for that great DeFi app where you can actually sit there and do everything on your phone. And if I want to lend out my Bitcoin to somebody, I can do it easily. And if I want to stake my Ethereum, I can do it very easily. And if I want to yield farm, yeah, Baron Trump's the one that's very involved in it. Zora, you are correct. And from everything I've heard, seems to know what he's doing. He is, one of those kids that grew up in that world of technology and has been interested in NFTs and cryptos since the first presidential term of his dad. So he is definitely involved in it. There, there's another guy, our friend there, Mr. Wonderful, that has a pretty good project that he's working on called Wonderfy that's looking to do that too. Mr. Shark Tank himself. So I do think a couple of people are working on that, and Coinbase very much working on it. And Coinbase is the one that's in the leader post. So again, if you're asking, Steve and I both are advocates that Coinbase is going to continue to grow. If they're to catch Schwab, as we've seen some analysts talk about, as the largest brokerage in the world, that would mean a 100% increase in their market cap from where it is today. So, okay, Steve, we are winding down here at 10 o'clock. We do see the tick negative about 500. QQQ not really slowing down here. What do you think? QQQ finish up here? Is Chip's going to lead us to the to a new
Well, so far they have.
high
We've,
price?
look, Nasdaq's already hit a new all-time high, so I don't see any stopping today. I think we're up 252 points. Whew, let's go. I don't see anything wrong here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that we want to have everybody's excited to get into the weekend, and I do think that we're going to see a little bit of an upward move here. And I do think crypto is going to continue to move up here as news continues to be positive on it. We're almost at 101.01. There we go, 101.1 here, highs
Yeah.
of the day. So crypto looks like it wants to run here, and so does technology. So guys and gals, have a great day. Big Beat, have a great weekend, my friend. I know you are here at the beginning of the week with me next week, so excited for that. And then you're gone later in the week. So we will see you all Monday morning. Keep in mind, we do have Mr. Bauer in with Mike Shore, who we haven't seen on Market Minds in a while, here at 1 o'clock today. So interested to see what they have to say. And at 11 o'clock, I will have this week's interview with Dr. Alan Ellman from the Blue Collar Investing Corp going up. And he talked about this week using a collar strategy within his strategy there at BCI. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will